now, a little bit about the Phoenix Boys Choir itself. Tell us about the history of it, when you got involved.
Yeah, it's a bit of morbid history in some ways, because the choir was founded in 1947 as part of a mortuary.
Oh my!
Yes.
Well, you think about it. That's a time when it touches the soul.
But that didn't last very long. I think about a year or something like that. The boys were kicked out basically of the mortuary because their jean rivets were scratching up those pews in there, and they couldn't have that. So we were lucky enough as a choir organization to be taken under the wings of the Orpheus Male Choir that still exists in Phoenix.
Right.
And then around the 70s, the choir became independent and had its own charter, actually, or constitution, as they call it. It's an old document that's called the Constitution.
Very
for
good.
the choir alone.
There's a reason for the .org.
Okay. And from there on, my predecessor, Dr. Harvey K. Smith, who unfortunately passed away a couple of months ago, but he started taking the choir on tour, and they toured first to Mexico, and then they started to expand and go basically around the world. They were in China, they were in Japan, they were in England, they were in all parts of Europe, and so on. So it's a wonderful experience for these kids to not only to bring their music and their joy of music to people around the world, but also to have that experience to be on their own 2 feet without their parents for about 3 weeks. They come back, all our parents tell us they're totally changed because they have just experienced life without support from their parents and survived.
Right.
They were able to pack their suitcase, more or less keep their things together.
Emphasize more or less, yeah.
Absolutely, that absolutely happens. And also just, how to say, represent themselves in host family homes around the world where they not necessarily speak English. And they're able to communicate. We give them rudimentary words with them that they can always fall back on, but they have to find a way of communicating, not only with the adults there, but also with the kids, which is a wonderful thing, actually. Sort of friendships, international friendships, and even pen pals start with that. And they're able to stay in touch with them. And some of the boys even go back years later and meet up with their host families from years ago.
Wow.
And that stays with them.
I'm really, see, Dane, you have a lot to look forward to.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a reason to work toward that tour choir. But, so then you've been with the Phoenix Boys Choir directing for about 15 years?
This is my 15th season starting in September. I came in June of '99. And we've done a lot of things. Well, in my time, we've won first place in Vienna.
Wow.
At the Summa Cum Laude Youth Festival.
Okay, we are the #1 boys choir. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we beat Vienna. I mean, hey, yeah, absolutely. So that moment in time, we were better.
Well, we sang also side by side with the Vienna Boys Choir in the Court Chapel here, which is a huge honor. And we've been proclaimed musical ambassadors to the European Union and things like that. With the honorary point of Pride of Phoenix, of course, and Grammy we have. So it's a wonderful organization. It's a non-profit, but we go far beyond just educating the boys in music. We do teach them world awareness, just personal responsibility, discipline, and all these things that are really not taught in that level anymore.
Absolutely. And going back to what Dane was saying, and I'm grateful for whatever this 3-minute commercial was, but it's the transformation of what actually happened to him inside of Phoenix Boys Choir, is that you feel that in order for you to get in touch with yourself, I mean, here we are, the social media, we talk about, this is the social universe, we talk about the social media, and we're supposed to connect people. In my humble opinion, it gets people, it's a crutch. It gets people to where the relationships aren't fully developed, and then they never get past that. They superficial relationships. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We're supposed to go offline. We're supposed to truly feel and relate the way that we should. Music is where you actually get that, you feel that, and most importantly, you get in touch with yourself and become who you want to become.
But social media has helped us also in a lot of aspects. For instance, when I came to the choir, it was so hard to keep in touch with the boys that had graduated from the choir.
True.
And we had struggled for that in my time here, till about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when we finally went on Facebook and started an alumni page there.
Right.
And suddenly we're able to reach so many of our former choir boys, and that's wonderful. We can keep them updated on what's going on with the choir. We can invite them to alumni events and so on. So it's a wonderful thing, and especially the boys that are now in the choir already get used to that and just stay in touch.